a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Tuesday, 14th January 2025, and we're coming to you live, not from the Port Mall, but again from the Milford Road Esplanade. I am Adana Kumbi. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. What a pleasure it is to breathe in the fresh morning air. The sun is kissing my cheeks, my ears, my neck, and everything else. And I thank God for the opportunity to be in this position this morning, to be bringing to you conversations that we need to have about things happening in and around Tobago. Of course, indeed, it is our pleasure. We're so thankful for those of you who have chosen us and made us your #1 choice for morning shows here on the island of Tobago. So whether you're viewing us on our Facebook live stream, on our YouTube channel, or on Amplia 102, we say good morning to you. Whether you're in your kitchen making your morning coffee, getting yourself ready for work, the children to school, thank you so much for staying tuned with us. Before we have all these conversations this morning, we're going to head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, January 14, 2025. Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Trevor James, announced that the Sherburne-Storby Connector Road should be completed before Carnival 2025. James explained the project, initially commissioned in August 2024, faced delays due to injunctions over approvals, environmental concerns and property rights. However, an agreement with the Killigreens Estate owner has lifted the injunction and discussions with the contractors are underway. The road, featuring the roundabout named after notable Tobagonians, will open before Carnival, with drainage issues in Cane and Bonaccord to be addressed. James emphasized delivering a long-awaited project that has been in existence since 1980s. Up next, Chairman of the Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Curtis Williams, supports the continuation of the state of emergency to address security concerns and crimes. William emphasized the need for more time for law enforcement to complete investigations and dismantle gangs, fearing crime could spike if the state of emergency ends prematurely. He highlighted persistent violence, including Tobago's first murder involving a child, remains a worry. He expressed alarm over this trend and urged authorities to address deeper issues while using the SOE to stabilize the situation. And finally, Minister Terence Dial Singh is urging the public to get the influenza vaccine, especially with Carnival approaching, to reduce severe illness from respiratory viruses like influenza, RSV, and COVID-19. He noted a global rise in respiratory diseases and emphasized that influenza, unlike the cold, can lead to serious complications such as pneumonia and death. With visitors expected for Carnival, he stressed the importance of vaccination. He also addressed concerns about exaggerated reports of HMP virus in China, concerning no local cases but continued monitoring. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Bianna, for our news there in 90 seconds, of course, bringing information to us as we need it. And of course, we are happy to learn that the health minister is in good health and in good stead. And we appreciate the healthcare services for taking care of all the citizens here in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, we always lobby for better healthcare, and, you know, on the island, and to ensure that we're in a safe space. And now we're hearing about a new streak of something that is developing in the atmosphere, and of course we want to ensure.
The minister is saying it's not a matter of to be alarmed, but you know, take precautionary measures by getting vaccinated, you know, just in case.
And of course, keeping your health in a good place, you know, boosting your immune system and you know, ensuring that everything is in a good place where you are health-wise. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our opportunity to tell you, especially with Carnival coming up and all the activities in the air, in the atmosphere, there are so many things that can happen. So you want to ensure you have your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your zinc, and all the things that you need to preserve your health and to ensure that you don't fall victim to any strand of any type of virus that might be taking place in the atmosphere. Of course, Bian, I want to say thank you so much for joining me on set this morning and for bringing our news in 90 seconds. And I do hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
You too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout outs. And while we're starting to celebrate birthdays this morning, we start off with the Honorable Senator Ansel Dennis. He is celebrating a birthday today, and of course we say happy birthday to you, Mr. Dennis, and we pray God's blessings upon your life. We do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday today, and we do hope that God continues to bless you and keep you. Next, we have Khadijah Charles Kirk. Khadijah Charles Kirk is also celebrating a birthday today, and we do hope that you have a wonderful birthday today, Khadijah. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. Up next is Tennille Devines Hill. Tennille Devines Hill is also celebrating a birthday. Tennille is somebody who I consider to be larger than life itself, and I do hope that you have a wonderful birthday today, Tennille, and I pray God's blessings upon your life as well. And next we have Jadael, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Jadael Joseph is celebrating a birthday today as well, and we say happy birthday to you, and we pray God's blessings upon your life. These January people, I know they're celebrating big time because they're thinking, you all celebrated for Christmas or January, we're doing it big. Happy birthday to you guys. And finally, our final birthday celebrant for today. Let me tell you about this lady. Her name is Danielle White, and she is Miss Court, and in fact, she's right here this morning, and we want to say a big, 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 big happy birthday to Danielle this morning, coming to you from all of us here at the Tobago Updates television family. And we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day, as she wears a beautiful smile, a really, really lovely personality. And we want to say happy birthday to you, and we pray God's blessings upon your life. So happy, happy birthday to you, Danielle. Of course, if you are celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, a promotion, a retirement, whatever you're celebrating, even if we don't have your photo and even if we don't have it on a record, we want to join in the celebrations with you. But we also want to remind you to put God first. Invite him in your celebration. He is the reason why there is something to celebrate. You might be wondering about this set that we have set up here. Of course, Courts is our sponsor this morning. They have provided us with luxury and comfort right here on the Milford Road Esplanade. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to Courts for sponsoring this set this morning. In case you're looking for something for your living room, your bedroom, your kitchen, whatever you're looking for, check them out. They are on the ground floor of the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. All right, who are we having conversations with in studio? Studio as in outside. Yes, we outside. You should probably take a quick little jog this morning and get the fresh morning air into your lungs to start your day. But in the meantime, we're having conversations with Miss Crystal Celestine. She's a financial advisor. We're talking about setting financial goals for 2025, an important way to start your year. Of course, you must know where your finances are lined up. Then we speak with Mr. Sheldon Bain and Makeda Bain, tennis athlete. You might have heard the news by now, and we're going to have that conversation this morning. Number one, she's ranked number one in the under 14 Cortec tennis championship there, and we are going to speak with her and her parents and her coach. And we wrap things up by speaking with one of the tenants right here on the Milford Road Esplanade. Yesterday we spoke with two of the tenants, and today you're going to find out more about another one of them this morning. So we do hope that you could stay with us as we continue bringing the information to you, whether you're viewing right here in Tobago, in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, all of Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, wherever you are. We invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood. or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Attention, members of TWCU Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Are you ready to take the next step and help shape your credit union's future? This is your chance to get involved. We're now accepting nominations for elections at our 75th Annual General Meeting 2025. Open positions include spots on the Supervisory Committee, the Board of Directors, and the Credit Committee. Nomination packages are available on our website www.twcu.co.tt, or you can pick one up at our Port of Spain or Tobago offices. The completed forms can be dropped off at the said offices or emailed to nominations@twcu.co.tt no later than January 17th, 2025 at 3 p.m. For more information, visit our website at www.twcu.co.tt. Don't miss this opportunity to make a difference. Apply today and guide the future of your credit union. TWCU Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Our credit union, one family.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. We're coming to you live from the Milford Road Esplanade in downtown Scarborough, Tobago. Just in case you're wondering, we're sitting right in front of the I Love Tobago sign. Do you love Tobago? Then you can pop on over so we can see your beautiful faces. Remember, our set this morning is sponsored by Courts. In the event you're looking for some type of furniture or appliance, you can check Courts to furnish your home. They're located on the ground floor of the Port Mall in Scarborough. We begin conversation this morning in our outdoor studio, and we're going to be speaking with Ms. Crystal Celestine, a financial advisor. The question this morning is, why do you need to budget for 2025? Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Adana. Good morning, Tobago. Tobago Updates, thank you for having me this morning.
Of course, indeed, it is a pleasure. And you know, when you begin a year, there's always a New Year's resolution, some type of plan, some type of goal setting. And we're talking about finances, one of the most important things that you could ever plan for, because I'm thinking if you have all of these goals, they must be financed some way or somehow.
Right.
So why do we need to set goals, and how do we set our budget or financial plan for any particular year, and how do we break it down to ensure that we achieve all the goals to cover the entire year?
All right. So one of the things that I do, I'm a financial coach, right? And in talking to persons, I realized that a lot of people are in survival mode. A lot of people are working month to month just to make ends meet. And that is definitely no way to live. So having, tips and tools for financial management is always important. Setting goals is where we begin. Now, we are all different. There are different things that we want to accomplish in life. And I try to remind my clients, never compare themselves to anybody else. What do you want to do? And that's the first question that we have to ask ourselves this year. What do you want to do, Adana? What do you want to do, Tobago? Do you want to travel? Do you want to save towards a house? Do you want to send your children to university? Do you want to just increase your savings? Do you want to have an emergency fund just so that when things pop up, you will not be struggling? So ask yourself those questions. What do you want to do this year? And write them down. It's good to have a plan in your mind, but I find that when you bring it to life in writing, it tends to hold you accountable, right? So ask yourself the question, what do you want to do? And take it seriously. Don't do it on a busy day. Set yourself aside and ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish this year? And then one of the things that we have to do is to look at our budget. Now, a lot of people don't like to hear the word budget. How do you feel about budgeting?
It's challenging.
Right. A lot of people don't like the rigid way that a budget can hold you to. But having a budget is basically just having a plan for your money, showing you where your money is going. So take a list of all your expenses right now. Just write it down just to see where your money is going. And then we could start planning, because then we could see what we need to cut, where we might need to substitute things, where we might need to even increase. So after you ask yourself what you want to do this year, then start looking at your budget. Just list your expenses and list your income. It will give you a good idea. A lot of us, we plan our budgets based on our income. And I don't know about you, but my income my salary, let me say my salary, because a lot of us look at our salary as income, would not be able to fund the things that I want to do. So another strategy for this year is to have multiple streams of income. And people might think, listen, ma'am, I don't have the time to be having a second and third job, but it's not that difficult. For example, some of us are sitting down on some gold mines. I don't know, like there's this person at my church who could really make sweet bread. I'm like, yo,
monetize this.
Monetize this. I have somebody that I'm working with who can crochet earrings, clothing. I'm like, yo, what are you good at? And you can turn that into a source of income. What are you already doing? Are you babysitting? Are you combing hair for your family? Maybe you could extend that service to the neighborhood, etc. A lot of us do a lot of short courses. What are we doing with them after? Right? Flower arrangements, etc. So having multiple streams of income will definitely help you to accomplish your goals. Of course,
because I'm thinking that you're saying so much, and it's a lot that goes into planning. And when you're thinking about setting aside money, well, first of all, holding yourself accountable in terms of writing down all your expenses.
Yeah.
It's a lot. How do you encourage yourself to do this? Because I know that some persons, I might be guilty as well, we have habits that we don't necessarily need to have. Some habits that do not contribute to us having a healthy budget that will allow us to save, or all the other things that we set as goals, because we do have goals. Some might be unrealistic, some might even be unattainable because of our habits. How do we address our habits? How do we encourage ourselves to say, now is the time, And do we wait until we get into crisis? How? Because for me, that is crossing that hurdle. How do we get there?
I think one of the things that helped me, as I would have mentioned before, is just simply writing it down, having a visual of what you want to do. For example, I could give you some tips that I use myself. Like, I am a big birthday person, right? I don't know. Well, you should know that because you know me. And one of the things I know is that this year I want to do something for myself for my birthday. So I've written that down already. And I've already created systems. So what I do, I have different accounts for different goals. And I mean, you can do that. You could join a credit union. Nothing is wrong with having multiple bank accounts because these are systems that will help us to measure our goals, right? So I know I'm going to have a big something for my birthday and I've already started, even in January, I'm putting things in place for that. I also know that I want to do some studies, right? So I have set up a system, a particular account where funds will be going to that. So I could be able to see, okay, do I need to sell something? Do I need to have more persons as clients in order to fund that account? So simply writing it down and then establishing systems where you can be able to measure to see how your progress is going. Those are little tips and tricks that I use for myself personally.
And in terms of, writing it down kind of holds you accountable because when you go back to that notepad or you go back to that sticky note that you put on your mirror, wherever you put it, you remind yourself, I really need to start this.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ways you can hold yourself accountable? I know sometimes people go in it with a partner,
right,
a friend, or what are some of the other ways that can hold people accountable? Because even if I see that sticky note, you might feel a pang of guilt and then you'll just be like, and then tomorrow you come back and you feel guilty again and the next week you're guilty and by the time you look at it, you're at the end of March and you haven't done anything. So what are some of the other things you can do to really hold you accountable to those financial goals?
Well, there are persons like myself we are coaches. So you and Alana Allen, she's also another coach that you can use. So you ask for help, you ask for support because this might not be what you are good at, right? So if you're not good at something, you outsource, you ask for help. So that is another strategy. You can just give us a call, send us a message on Facebook or social media, and we'll be willing to sit down and to help you, hold you accountable so that you can meet some of the goals that you are trying to achieve. In addition to having multiple streams of income, I want to encourage persons to manage debt because a lot of my clients, when they come to me, they are in heavy debt. And I mean, nothing is wrong with borrowing because we borrow to invest, we borrow because we want to accomplish things in life, right? But managing it is very important. So a lot of persons may feel that they are in a chokehold because of debt. There are several options out there for you to manage debt. For example, a debt consolidation. Now, persons look down on borrowing to take care of debt, but what a debt consolidation does is it gives you additional cash flow. So you might have 5 loans and the amount that you're paying out every month is, let's say, $5,000. If you take that and you make it into one loan, your payment might go down to $2,000. So you have $3,000 additional dollars to help take care of your goals. And you have this space in order to breathe. And I always tell my clients, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So if you, let's say, get a contract or you start a business and it's doing really well, you could just put that money or put the profits or the surplus to taking care of that debt. So one strategy that I would want to give Tobago this morning to manage your debt is to seek out a debt consolidation. You are not hopeless. Go to these financial institutions, ask questions, because we sometimes think, oh God, nobody wants. These people want to give you their business, right? So go and speak to somebody at the bank and they will be able to advise you in going forward. So managing that is very important. The final thing I wanted to talk about in terms of tips is basically building an emergency fund. Your emergency fund is not your savings, right? So aside from your goals, you need to have an emergency fund where in the event that something pops up, it's not going to derail your goals, right? So again, that is another system you can employ by maybe having a credit union account or a bank account where you put funds specifically for emergency. And you could start off small because some people might be like, ma'am, my budget is already very tight. Yes. But again, you can start off with $50. And trust me, if that tire needs to be repaired or plugged or whatever, you have something that you can just run to take care of emergency. So having an emergency fund is very important.
You told us quite a lot there, viewers, and I hope that you're paying attention to, making your budget and planning financially, because especially the emergency fund, you never know what can pop up. You never know when you might need to run to funds for something, and you don't, as Crystal said, you don't want to be derailed from your plans. If you have all these wonderful goals for yourself, you want to be able to have that kind of cash flow to plug into the necessary emergency that might arise. As we look around the world, we see so many things happening. You might want to buy some kind of medication or something, anything. It doesn't matter what it is, you want to have that extra cash flow. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us on set this morning and for sharing those tips. I'm telling you, I am blown away by the wealth of knowledge that you shared with us this morning, and the strategies that can be implemented to help us to set budgets, to set a plan, and to stick to it, especially the accountability, because I know that we have some unhealthy habits where finances are concerned. There's ways to make multiple streams of income, debt consolidation. Listen, I feel as if after this conversation, I could be a financial coach assistant. Let's start with assistant. So thank you so much for coming this morning and sharing your knowledge with us. Ladies and gentlemen, you're viewing the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and we're coming to you live from the Milford Road Esplanade. We have more in store for you, so we do hope that you could stay with us. Remember, this beautiful set is sponsored by Courts, and they are located on the ground floor of the Port Mall in Scarborough. Ladies and gentlemen, as we go for a break, we invite you to help us share the live. Share the live. Share the live. We'll be right back.
Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. Remember, we're coming to you live from this Milford Road, Esplanade. We're so happy that you're here with us this morning. We continue conversations this morning, and this morning we're heading on over to another topic I have with me this morning. Carlet Groom Matthew, social worker of the TTPS, and acting corporal Maurice Goddard, and we're talking about the Rock the Island post-mortem, reclaiming our communities from crime. Remember that weekend there was a sports clinic there at Shaw Park. Yes, and we're going to have a little conversation as to where that is concerned. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure having you guys in studio, in our outdoor studio this morning. And of course, we know that that clinic that took place over the weekend there at the Shaw Park grounds. And I mean, I passed through for a few minutes and I was overwhelmed by the amount of persons that were there. So let us get into the conversation. Reclaiming our communities from crime. That was the theme for this particular clinic, or is that an ongoing theme?
It is what ROC stands for.
Right.
And it is a movement, an initiative that we launched last weekend, where we want to bring back that sense of community to Tobago, you know, where we used to say it takes a village to raise a child. So we want Tobago to be that village again. And so we want to start by investing in our children, in the area of sport initially, and then we'll branch out into the arts and the above.
Right. And in terms of the clinic that took place, or the events that took place on the weekend, in your assessment, what was it turn out like? Did it meet your expectations, surpass your expectations? Are you looking forward to another event that will bring people together, communities together?
Oh, it surpassed our expectations. We had over 300 children present, yes, and we will be having another clinic, but this time we go to the Sid Grace Stadium. Right? So all roads lead to Roxborough.
What else can we look forward to coming out of? I know you said you launched on the weekend. What else can we look forward to in terms of reclaiming our communities from crime? What other activities are we hoping to get? I know you said through sport. How else are you gonna, mobilize that team to ensure we get the youths involved in what is happening and to sensitize and bring awareness to the fact that, listen, crime is not something that we're used to here on the island of Tobago, and we really want to get us back to a place where people feel comfortable once again. How are you going to use that foundation to continue to bring people into that awareness?
Well, we want to get into the community, so we are encouraging all community groups. Even if you have a little 7-a-side football squad, we will come and we will play with you. Right? We would help to build the skills of the kids. We also want to do some community projects as well. We're not just looking at football. I mean, we love football. I love football. But if we can get like cricketers and other athletes involved, we welcome all and everybody.
And I really appreciate that inclusiveness, to allow everybody an opportunity to be a part of this. When are you hoping to go to Sid Grade? Is there a time frame set already, or it's just in the plans right now?
It's in the plans right now, but we are looking at February.
All right, around the corner.
Right around the corner.
So, viewers, of course, you want to pay attention to what is happening in your communities as the TTPS Reclaiming Our Communities for Crime launched last weekend. And of course, they will be rolling out events and activities in communities across Tobago. Sid Gray Complex is next. But look out, something might be happening where you reside. So pay attention to what is happening and be a part of the movement. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go for a short break before we continue conversations. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live. Share the live. Share the live. We'll be right back.
members of TWCU Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Are you ready to take the next step and help shape your credit union's future? This is your chance to get involved. We're now accepting nominations for elections at our 75th Annual General Meeting 2025. Open positions include spots on the Supervisory Committee, the Board of Directors, and the Credit Committee. Nomination packages are available on our website www.twcu.co.tt, or you can pick one up at our Port of Spain or Tobago offices. The completed forms can be dropped off at the said offices or emailed to nominations@twcu.co.tt no later than January 17th, 2025 at 3 p.m. For more information, visit our website at www.twcu.co.tt. Don't miss this opportunity to make a difference. Apply today and guide the future of your credit union. TWCU Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Our credit union, one family.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. We're coming to you live from the Milford Road Esplanade. We're sitting right in front of the I Love Tobago sign. If you look behind me, you'll see the sign right there, and we're so happy to be coming to you. Of course, our set is sponsored by Courts in Lowlands. Yes, the Lowlands branch of Courts sponsored our set this morning, and we have to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We continue conversations this morning in our outdoor studio. Yes, we're still going to call it a studio. We're going to be speaking this morning with Miss Makita Bain. She's a tennis athlete. Yep. her dad is also here, Mr. Sheldon Bale, and Dunstan Denoon coach. And we're talking this morning about something very, very important and a moment for us all to be very, very proud of. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Anna.
It's of course a pleasure to have you guys here with us this morning and set as we go through this conversation this morning. And we're talking about tennis, a sport that we consider to be, I consider at least to be a prestigious sport, and a sport I wish a lot more young people or persons in general would get involved in. I myself, I'm hoping maybe I could probably swing a racket someplace about. But we're talking this morning about a specific tournament, championship that is upcoming. We call it the COTEC, which means the Caribbean. Let me just get it correctly. Somebody help me here this morning. It's called the Central American and Caribbean Region Tournament, tennis tournament.
Well, good morning, Adana. Well, what it is Adana is, Makeda is the number 1 under 14 player in COTEC, which is, to make it simple for everyone, the group of Central America and the Caribbean have a subgroup with the International Tennis Federation, and they have a series of tournaments by region, and the top players tend to be promoted to play internationally versus regionally.
Right.
So one of the biggest things for Makeda, as shy as she is or pretends to be, that's supposed to make her laugh, is that at 12 years old, she's actually number 1 under 14 player in
that category.
In that category, in Central America and the Caribbean. So she has been selected as one of 2 or 3. Is it 2 or 3, Makeda? 2, right. I'm trying to get her talk to at the same time. One of 2 players from the entire region to tour with their team that goes to South America and plays a series of 3 tournaments through Colombia. You can help us out?
Right. But Makeda, I'm happy that you joined the conversation this morning. So softly spoken. How do you feel being selected to play in this tournament?
I feel very proud and excited to be in this tournament.
And what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to just playing at my best of my abilities.
Sorry?
Playing to the best of my abilities.
How long have you been playing tennis? Because at 12 years old, being ranked number 1 in that region, the Central America and the Caribbean, I'm sure that a lot of effort has gone into it, and you've been playing for some time. How long have you been playing?
Since I was 4 years old.
4 years old. Wow, that's a long time to be playing. And how has it been your journey in terms of getting you to where you are? The practices, ensuring you get to practice on time, your coach telling you what to do, the sacrifices you have to make. How has that been for you?
It's been tough, but I still managed to pull through with everything.
And why have you managed to pull through?
Because I just had to love the game.
You love it. That's right, and that's exactly where I'm trying to go with this. The fact that you love the game. And I see your coach trying to...
Well, I am one of our coaches, Anthony Williams, who is responsible for the what we call the Tobago zone, who is like what I call the second godfather of tennis. He's one of our main coaches, as is Larry Yearwood. Her father is also a coach, but we are childhood friends, so he asks me from time to time to come in and help. But I am on the executive of the Tennis Association, and but I'm not sure with this year, but I was the national junior coach, women's coach, and the national men's coach. So I have a little bit of experience. So sometimes I just jump in to make sure everything is everything. But I come here from a coordination standpoint as a member of the executive of the Tennis Association of Trinidad and Tobago. But as you said, Makeda said she started at 4. That's her father here is a coach and a tennis player since he was around 10 or 11 years old in Shopper. So that has also helped facilitate her playing tennis the way she's been playing tennis.
And that leads me to my question also, Dad. The fact that you are a coach and you've been playing for all those years, how did you get Makeda to be so interested in the game? Was it a natural thing for her, or was it because of your influence that brought her into the sport?
Well, I will say both. Not came natural for her, and because when I pick her up from school, we used to head straight to the tennis court. So while the bigger ones playing, she would have just been around playing with the balls, and then saw the interest and she continued from there.
Right, and that is very, very good. The fact that, sometimes we have opportunities that we miss sometimes. And I like the fact that you were able to maximize this opportunity, even though it wasn't deliberate. you saw something there and the encouragement came, and now here Makeda is now preparing for this tournament, which begins later down in this month. Makeda, you know, you've been a part of this for a number of years. Training, as I mentioned before, you know, making the sacrifices and just loving the sport. In terms of preparation now for this tournament, is your training changing up a bit? Do you see that you have to put in more? What is it looking like now for you?
Well, I had to change it just a little bit, but not too much difference, because I was going to take it very seriously.
That's very good. But what are some of the changes that you've had to implement, if you can identify any?
Train more in the morning.
More morning hours. A typical training day, like a training session, what are the hours like for you? Is it an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? What do you do when you train?
2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours. Consistent training.
Yeah.
Right. Additionally to she would have had to go to a personal trainer for stretching and strength and conditioning exercises. And all of that good stuff. But I'd like to jump in here to note, as we talk about her progress and her accomplishments, which at 12 is phenomenal, to be very honest with you, hailing from the Caribbean. And Trinidad and Tobago more specifically. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. It's the same with an athlete. One of the biggest benefits or factors that has helped Makeda is her father is an integral role, the coaches there, but even the Tennis Association, the Tobago House of Assembly, the Ministry of Sport, because Makeda has become the #1 player in Cotec from primarily traveling, having tournaments in Trinidad and Tobago. And we would hope that it could come back to Tobago, but we know that there are some challenges with the facilities there, which is a whole other conversation. But I'll just throw in a little statement here to say, one of the biggest things, if we're looking at the business of sport and the advancement of sport professionally, is we need to make sure that we have the standards and specifications for international awards for events to ensure you have the events. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Makeda I know she went to a series of countries. I don't want to say she went to Miami when she really went to Mexico. So maybe you could just tell everybody the tournaments that you've been to or the countries you've been to.
I've been to St. Lucia, Barbados, Mexico, and what's next?
Suriname, yeah. So you've been to a lot of countries, been a lot of tournaments, and of course, excitement continues to build, especially when you win. When you win a game, you feel like if you have achieved something, like all the effort that went into training amounted to something. And even if you don't win, the fact that you get to go on a plane to represent yourself, to represent where you are from, to represent your team, your club, your country, is something that I would commend you for and continue to encourage you. And saying that, my next question leads to, what are you expecting out of the tournament that you're heading into now?
I'm just expecting to play to the best of my abilities and just stay positive.
To just stay positive. And do you, when you enter a competition, a race, anything you enter, you go in thinking, maybe I could win. Do you have that in your mind?
Yes.
So I want you to continuously tell yourself, I'm going into this with the mindset, maybe I can win. So I'm going to do the winning thing and possibly win. Right? So I want to wish you all the very, very best. But before we go, there's something I want to ask you as well, because a lot of young people might be looking at this program this morning. You have school, you have your chores at home. How do you balance your training, the demands for training, and your demands for school, your demands for home? How do you balance it all to remain successful in everything that you do?
It's easy to balance it because I'm very used to it. Because I see I was playing since I was 4, so it's easy to balance it.
And if you were to encourage a young person right now who wants to get into some type of extracurricular activity, what would you tell them to do?
Just to stay positive.
Stay positive. And of course, I would add to that, build a community around yourself, as Dunstan said. And we usually say on this show here on Tobago Updates that it takes a village. And we want villages and communities to come back together to support the ones who represent us, especially on international stages.
I would want to personally, on behalf of the Tennis Association of Trinidad and Tobago, to commend the THA with respect to the Lalon Gordon Fund and establishing that. And also to thank the Minister of Sport and the Ministry for the funding that they would have provided to Sheldon and Makeda, because without that funding, it would not have been possible for her to travel to those countries, which basically means she would not have had the ranking because she would not have been able to play, although she has the potential, which is clear. And additionally, having the funding for tournaments to be held here. Although we are currently at a disadvantage with Trinidad, with the condition of the courts in Shore Park, whereas she has to fly to Trinidad to play a tournament where we could have had international tournaments here. But it becomes very important for sport for us to ensure that we have the capacity with our funding, with our facilities, to have these types of success stories.
And I see the plug there and I support it, of course. And of course, it's the community again rallying around the talent that we have right here in Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Makita Bain, and she's preparing to participate in an upcoming tournament. And she's ranked #1 in the under-14 of the Central America and Caribbean. So you want to stay tuned for the information that will come as she participates in this tournament to see how she comes out. We're all supporting, of course, as we usually do when anyone of us takes an international stage to represent all of us here on the island of Tobago. So the very best to you and to your team, and we do hope we wish for you the very, very best success in this event and all the other events that you will participate in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. Remember, we're coming to you live from the Milford Road Esplanade, but we continue on with GMT, which is Good Morning Tobago. And of course, we want to say thank you to Courts for sponsoring our set this morning. And of course, we had a lovely, lovely time. The sun is now not even kissing me, it's embracing me this morning. I'm sweating on set, but I'm having a good time on the outside this morning. I'm seeing so many vehicles passing by. The people are walking, breathing in the fresh morning air. Those of you who are getting to work this morning, get there safely and do have a productive day. We head on over to GMT next. So as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
This infrastructure is being developed because we have another dream. We have a dream when Cove Industrial Estate will in fact be an industrial estate, and there will be the need to transport containers in and out of Cove. We build this dream because we see an increase in tourist arrivals at the new terminal, and we want to move them as quickly as possible out of Crown Point into the rest of the beauty that is Tobago. And as you traverse along that road, on the interior, you will meet a roundabout that will be named after Dr. Jefferson Davidson. Dr. Davidson took over the helm from Mr. A.N.R. Robinson when he departed our shores in '86 to become Prime Minister of the country. He was also the first presiding officer of the modern Tobago House of Assembly. And then
as you come to this direction, and Secretary James mentioned it, this roundabout here at Shervan will be named after James Bigat. What he did not tell you about James Bigat is that James Bigat is actually responsible for the education of hundreds, thousands of Tobagonians. The road we are standing on today will be appropriately named the Pamela Nicholson Avenue. But as fortunes will have it, the Pamela Nicholson Avenue will drive onto or intersect with a boulevard named after another Charlottevillian in the person of Dr. Winston Murray, the Dr. Winston Murray Boulevard. Coincidentally, both Dr. Murray and Miss Nicholson were members of Parliament for Tobago West.
It is with great humility and gratitude that I accept this token of your recognition of my life of service to Tobago. May we as a people continue to grow from strength to strength, always being blessed with visionary and selfless leadership as we position and promote Tobago as the gem of the Caribbean, cognizant of our positive contribution to the rest of the world. God bless Tobago, and may this project stand as a conduit for a buoyant tourist industry, one of the necessary pillars that will take our economy into world-class 21st century development.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Grief is really about phases. Some days you'll be good, some days you won't. Some days you'll feel on top of the world, and some days you'll feel like, you're in a pit and you can't come out. So I want to encourage people that as they go through phases, to be compassionate towards themselves, to be gentle, and to always reach out, because social support is really what people need to help to bear the weight of this heaviness of loss. Support is what helps a woman, a family, people that are grieving overcome the loss that comes with losing an infant, whether it's miscarriage, stillbirth, or a neonatal death. And so today I'm hoping to help to break the silence, to normalize this. 1 in 4 women would experience some form of infancy or pregnancy loss.
The founder, Makita, is my cousin, and she was very supportive of Hannah Rose and I when we went through our loss in 2022. Even though it's naturally a painful experience for men as well, I think, as a man, it's really hard to fathom how painful of an experience it is for the women and the mothers who go through that experience. And community is extremely important. So the awareness for me, raising the awareness through the organization is equally as important as the individual help that it gives to the people who go through those experiences.
Having the experience myself, it showed me a depth of pain that I think only others who have really experienced it could really know. And so it's really a healing thing to be able to connect with other people who could relate to the experience.
We know that we cannot be silent anymore. It is time for us to speak. The international theme this year is Together We Care. It is centered on the message that self-care is the most important integral way to show we care. In fact, it is essential if we are going to be able to raise awareness and speak out about pregnancy loss.
Production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now, as you guys know, we are having our special week of Beneath the Surface, and we are joining you live from the Scarborough Esplanade. We are directly in front of the beautiful and scenic I Love Tobago sign. Now, this morning, we are specially sponsored by Court's Furniture Store. Now, if you want to go to Court, if you see anything on this set that really appeals to your eye, just know that Courts is located at the ground floor of the Port Mall in Scarborough or at the Lowlands Golf City Mall. Now, you already know when you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. This morning, I'm joined by my co-host, Miss Adana Kumbi, and this morning we're going to be having an interesting Beneath the Surface conversation. But before we get into that this morning, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, Trevor James, announced that the Shervan-Storbay Connector Road in Tobago should be completed between Carnival 2025. Before Carnival 2025. James explained the project initially commissioned in August 2024 faced delays due to injunctions over approvals, environmental concerns, and property rights. However, an agreement with the Killigrew estate owner has lifted the injunction, and discussions with the contractors are on the way. The road, featuring roundabouts named after noble Tobagonians, will open before Carnival, with drainage issues in Canaan Bonaccord to be addressed. James emphasized delivering a long-awaited project that has been in existence since 1980. Additionally, Chairman of the Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Curtis Williams, supports the continuation of the state of emergency to address security concerns and crime. Williams emphasized the need for more time for law enforcement to complete their investigations and dismantle gangs, fearing crime could spike if the state of emergency ends prematurely. He, including a number of Tobagonians, are supporting Tobago's persistent fight against crime and violence after Tobago's first murder involving a child remains a worry. He expressed alarming concerns over trends and urged the authorities to address deeper issues while using the state of emergency to stabilize the issue. And finally, Health Minister Terence Dayal Singh is urging the public to get the influenza vaccine, especially with Carnival approaching, to reduce severe illnesses from respiratory viruses like influenza, RSV, and COVID-19. Speaking at the Queen's Park Savannah, he noted a global rise in respiratory diseases and emphasized that influenza, unlike the common cold, can lead to serious complications such as pneumonia and death. With visitors expected for the Carnival season, he stressed the importance of vaccination. He also addressed concerns about exaggerated reports on the HMP virus in China, confirming no local cases but continued monitoring. And this was on news in 90 seconds. Guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. And as we get into this morning's interesting conversations with Beneath the Surface, this morning we have a really special guest. We have Secretary Natisha and Miss Natisha Pantin. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Bagatelle Bacalet. Good morning to the wider Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning.
Now, in your capacity as Assemblyman, this morning we are going beneath the surface. We're going to touch on a number of things happening within your district, but we're also going to touch on a number of things happening within your division. And now we have had these conversations throughout the year, so sitting here for Beneath the Surface is not really something new for you, because you are basically always here on Tobago Updates. But this morning we want to go beneath a number of the projects, beneath a number of the campaigns and initiatives that you have been doing within your division and within the district. Now we know that we are in an election year, so there is a lot happening. So before we get into all those questions, the number one question the people want to know, would you be putting yourself forward for the general election?
That's an interesting question. And I say that because everywhere I go, people are asking me if I'm going in the east, if I'm going in the west. And I did not put my hat in the ring, so to speak. All right, so I'm clearing that up this morning. I did not so far indicate that I would be doing that. No.
But interesting, you said so far. So we're still looking out to see what is going to be happening there, because so far suggests that the possibility still exists. So we're going to be looking out to see what is happening there. And Chanel, before we get into the conversation in terms of the projects and the initiatives that came out of your division, I want to talk a little bit about, because the theme is beyond the surface. We know that there are a lot of things that comprise and center around who you are as a person, as a mother, a wife, an individual in a community, and of course a woman in politics and in service. So, for me, I would like to bring the viewers up to speed in terms of how do you balance all the responsibilities that are expected of you? Because remember, as Chanel mentioned in the introduction, you campaigned and you said, these are the things that we're going to do. You have committed yourself to a specific area. You have committed to the people in your district and, of course, the people whom you serve in the capacity of a secretary for the Division of Food Security, all the projects that you want to bring on stream and all the work that you have been doing there. How do you balance that with all the other demands that come from being Natisha Charles Pantin?
Well, I would say I balance it by taking it one day at a time. Yeah. Every day I move forward with an agenda. And in the beginning, when I won, I would have plotted out exactly how I wanted to approach managing my district, managing the division, and managing my personal life. And it is not easy, I could tell you that. But once you identify leaders among you, then I think it makes it a bit easier. And we have upcoming leaders. But my fear is that the politics, you know, that the bad aspect of it in terms of the publicity and the negativity of it may discourage persons from giving of themselves for service. So, but honestly, I believe that once we identify leaders among us and we keep empowering them, I think that it's the right way to go in terms of becoming a successful assemblyman and secretary.
And you know, when you, sorry Chanel, you know, when you consider, you introduce the topic of politics and the negative aspects of it.
Yes.
How do you navigate through the negative that will come? Because politics is an open game. People literally go into your history, go into your background, go into your home. They talk about your family. How do you navigate through those rough tides? Because there are projects that you might not be as successful in as you would have hoped to be.
Correct.
There might be people who might be thinking, yeah, but you said so and so and this has happened. And so the slew of negative things will start coming your way. How do you manage and how do you encourage the same leaders you're talking about that you want to come up to take the baton and to continue in politics and to ensure policies are implemented on the island, projects and initiatives are undertaken? How do you encourage these people to say, listen, yes, because they know these things will happen? What is your encouragement to them to say, no, we have to do this?
I think it's a personality thing with me. No, it's not the first time that I've had challenges in my life. And to be honest, I have just been keeping focused. I'll tell you something. When I went to Scotland, you had a lot of scientific work to do. And if you understand the landscape in Scotland, it's a lot of mountains. And there were times that I felt that I couldn't make it because you had to carry your equipment on your back and go through snow and ice. And I just kept focused. I just kept on going. And, you know, managing, you know, with different teams, because as you go through school, you go through college, you go through university, you get to work with people. And I think that is training enough, even working in the same division for 18 years before becoming a secretary. I think that life on a whole has prepared me for the challenges, right? So I would just say to keep focused. I'll tell you what keeps us back as a people. And I'll just use a simple example. You would have a program to execute. And mind you, you would have a lot of war happening, in fighting, people think it should go this, that way. And I always say, if you eliminate, you know, all the emotion and all, and just focus on the work, you get it done. So you waste hours, probably days, contributing to, you know, keeping back yourself, really. And then you execute it and you look back and you say, but you know, this thing come out better than I thought it would. So if you eliminate all the distractions, I believe that we could get a lot more done. But politics is politics. It is what it is. I really don't focus on it. A lot happens around agriculture. I do the best that I can. My staff, they do the best that they can within, you know, the policies that we have. And we just keep going. Yeah.
When you came into office, you had a 100-day plan.
Yes.
These were the things that you wanted to execute within your first 100 days of being in office.
Yes.
What were some of those key things? Were you able to accomplish them? And looking back, what would you have done differently?
So, agriculture is a huge division. And we had to look at, well, retrain what people thought about the sector. So a lot of people believe that agriculture could just plant in the ground, you know, do anything. But the stakeholders grew to understand that it's a business and a science. And then you had to empower the staff, because what you had was all the infrastructure run down, no money, trying to encourage persons to work on that, poor environment, and it was difficult. But you had a lot of talking to do, right? And to look and see where you could get funds and how to redirect funds. So it was a lot of effort, and it is still a lot of effort, because I don't think that you could fix this sector overnight. But everything that we would have set out to do, we would have accomplished thus far. So we took it in terms of, we looked at different aspects. So we look at agrotourism, for example, right? We looked at setting up the food hub, right? And that was accomplished, creating a space so that people could do anything, not just sell provisions, but you could have any activity, right, that could lead to economic development, right? That was one thing that was really good. We looked at the fishing sector, the fish sector, right? And almost all the fish utility, the fish facilities, they were run down. As a matter of fact, the Buku fish facility, it was nothing. It was completely destroyed. So we had to restore these facilities to bring it up to international standards, yeah? And we still have a lot more work in that area to do, because if you have to meet international standards, you're talking about, catching the fish, putting it on, draining the blood, putting it on ice, and bringing it back for consumption, right? And of course, you have testing involved as well. So you have to retrain the stakeholders in the sector for them to understand that, catching the fish, leaving it for 12 hours, bringing it back, that is against international standards, against health standards. So we ourselves in Tobago, we have to understand that we have to now move away from the tradition, because sometimes the traditional practices may be unhealthy. So it's about retraining, retooling. Even the packing house. Recently, the staff would have upgraded the packing house, so you can move into a space and do your production, do your processing under certain environments, right? So you had to sort of retool and retrain, yeah? We would have created the TARI, that is the Tobago Agri-Research Initiative, up at Kendall Farm School, and they merged with UTT. And I'll tell you, being a student, having to go to Trinidad, come back to Tobago, we would have eliminated that process. So now you can get your diploma and possibly your degrees just remaining in Tobago, but partnering with TTT. Yeah? So, we just looking at the sector, trying to make improvements, I think we would have done a good job, right? Even the introduction of technology under the new company, the Tobago Agri-Technology Services Company, that recently launched, right? We would have invited a lot of technology into this space, so it's a start. And as we move forward into the future, and when you hear about Elon Musk and all these, we can't continue doing the same thing, the same, way all the time. We have to advance with the technology, yeah? So I think we would have done a lot. We would have started the Access Roads program. We would have upgraded the animal pens, right? So we have a lot of work to do. If you have a sector that nothing is functioning, obviously you have to make an investment into the infrastructure in order to meet the standards.
Understood. Well, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back right after this. So see you soon, guys.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
A Attention, members of TWCU Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Are you ready to take the next step and help shape your credit union's future? This is your chance to get involved. We're now accepting nominations for elections at our 75th Annual General Meeting 2025. Open positions include spots on the Supervisory Committee, the Board of Directors, and the Credit Committee. Nomination packages are available on our website www.twcu.co.tt, or you can pick one up at our Port of Spain or Tobago offices. The completed forms can be dropped off at the said offices or emailed to nominations@twcu.co.tt no later than January 17th, 2025 at 3 p.m. For more information, visit our website at www.twcu.co.tt. Don't miss this opportunity to make a difference. Apply today and guide the future of your credit union. TWCU Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Our credit union, one family.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, you know we are having our Beneath the Surface series, and we are coming to you live from the Scarborough Esplanade. We are at the scenic Isle of Tobago site, and this morning, again, we are sponsored by Quartz Furniture Store. So if you see anything on set here that you think might look really good in your home, be sure to go to Quartz at the ground floor of Scarborough Port Mall or the Gulf City Mall branch. Now, as we continue our discussion this morning, we are chatting with Assemblyman Natisha Pantin. Now, you have done a number of projects, and before the break, you were able to rattle them off. But since you have come into office from now, TADCO has been a huge point of contention. Is the situation with TADCO one where there is a management issue and it's difficult to get competent people to run the establishment? Or is it that when you came in there were so many existing issues with TADCO that you had to spend a lot of time fixing those issues?
And this is really and truly a Beneath the Surface episode. So I'll talk about the positives because that's my personality. I must talk about the positives. And the capital of paradise, it was, I mean, we never heard about the capital of paradise before making any money. I mean, we knew it existed, but now you have transparency. You know where the vessel is, you know when it fish, whenever it brings back, fish, you know, you could say how much money, millions of dollars it has made for Tobago so far. So you've had transparency, and most important, the vessel would have been able to build capacity, right, for a number of Tobagonians, right? I don't know if we recall that program where you have young people anywhere in the Tobago space, you're willing to become a fisher, part of the fisher folk community, you can come on board the capital of paradise, learn the trade. Of course, the only thing you would need is a passport and a good stomach, yeah? But learn the trade. And then you can move on from there to own your own vessel or be part of a fleet, right? Where people get together and fish in any part of the world, right? So much so that St. Vincent would have entered into an agreement with us that we can also build capacity with the fisher folk community in St. Vincent. So I believe that is an excellent model. Yeah. So the capital of paradise is a big win, and of course having the staff understand the financial challenges of the division, right? They would have participated in several upgrades of facilities, right? So that is why we have the packing house now. But when you're bearing fruit, you never have an easy time, right? Anybody could tell you if you're doing anything in your life, somebody trying to fight you down, somebody trying to, and that is what you have, right? And as I said, you just have to keep focused. I know that we have a competent board in place. We have excellent managers, we have excellent staff, but not everybody would buy into the vision. Because remember, we adopted a culture where the practice is that if you get into a government entity, you're comfortable, right? And everything comes easy. But what you have is a limit on funding. And if I don't have the funding, and that's the thing, the companies are meant to behave, to act like a business. So if you don't have a business mindset, and you just come to work, you sign in, and then you run off to do something else, how can you serve the people of Tobago? I am an assemblyman, I'm a secretary, and I take my work very seriously. How you think that Tobagonians would have liked that every day of my life I lie down home? I mean, come on, that is unreasonable, right? Or you just come to work, you just sign and you go home. That is unreasonable. Taxpayers are paying you, right? So you need to show some sort of effort, yeah? And I am happy to report that the majority of Tobagonians are on board, right, with this vision of building the greatest little island, right, or the greatest little nation on the planet, yeah? So for those of you who would have stuck with the mandate of the company, right, I applaud you. I applaud the board, I applaud the management, and I applaud staff, right? Now we actually have receipts of what TADCO can do as a company.
Go ahead.
You know, as Chanel mentioned before, TADCO really has been under a lot of fire, you know, with a lot of things happening there. We've been talking, when we talk even about the cold storage situation that took place, and you know, a lot of rumblings in the air, and sometimes I feel as if people feel as if they don't have the measure of clarity that they're looking for where certain things are concerned. And I want to know, in terms of that aspect of it, how stable are we where that is concerned right now?
I would not say that it's 100% stable, because we don't have brand new equipment and infrastructure, right? But we do have some stability. And as long as we, you know, we get funding as we go into the different fiscal years to come, we will ensure that the company is stable. But if you're operating with things that you inherited and it's run down, and you have to dust them out and put them back into production, obviously you will have breakdowns now and then, yeah? But I wouldn't say it is a fault of any staff or management or the board, right? They're doing the best they can with what they have. And especially the capital of paradise, that had to really be refurbished as well, right? That had to be maintained, right? So once we have an injection of funds, right, TADCO will make the investments and we will be functioning better. But I cannot say that TADCO has not done well. It's one of the companies that would have excelled, right, in the 3 years. They were able to, when the vessel, the boat stopped coming between Trinidad and Tobago, right? Most of the franchise, they got the poultry from TADCO, right? And we had no complaints from the franchises, different franchises, pizza and all these things. They were able to make purchases from Tadco. And that's the thing. We are not anticipating a crisis, right? And until we have it, then we'll understand why we need to have this sector up and running. My division is not a division that if nothing happens, we're all right. It's a division that has to function. So we have to understand that should a COVID-19 happen again, might have a COVID-20, I don't know, right? We should be able to provide for ourselves, right? Forget emergency. We should supposed to be able to provide for ourselves and supply to Trinidad if Trinidad has an emergency. But we cannot take a position of comfort thinking that all is well and nothing will happen.
And talking about being able to provide for ourselves and not being too dependent on Trinidad as we are right now, and all the initiatives that you have brought on board through your division, do you feel as if the general public, the Tobago public, is empowered enough, educated enough, has the information enough to buy into these projects where they can plug in and say, listen, I too can benefit from this as an individual. My community can benefit. Do you think that enough has been done in terms of encouraging, educating, and empowering the general Tobago public?
We need to do more education. And you're brilliant, because you understand the mandate of the division. A lot of people believe that the division is supposed to be able to plant all the food that it needs. The mandate of the division is to create farmers, to create fisher folk, empower them, right? Change their thinking so that they themselves can produce for Tobago, right? Yes, we have Hope Farm who they do a little bit of eggs, right? Not enough to supply Tobago. But those eggs, we don't produce eggs. They are as a result of the training. So you have animals on the farm. So what you have is a product of training, and that is what is distributed. So it's not at a market level where you could market eggs to Trinidad and all of these things. No, right? What we have are stations, and these stations are equipped to train you in the science and the business. And then you in turn can become a farmer. You can be part of the fisher folk community. You can be part of the agro-processing community. And someone asked me just last evening, if some boys on the block, they want to come to me and, start becoming a fisherman, what is the process? I said, that's easy. The capital of paradise is there. All you need is a passport and you will be trained. You have Republic Bank, they're giving away millions of dollars. They have the forms there. I have forms as well from them. They're encouraging you to come and make the investment into agriculture, right? BDU, we have worked with BDU to change the grant structure so that we can provide access to increased grants, right, for agro-processors. So we continue to work with our stakeholders, right? Give them the necessary resources so that they can enter into business. The Tobago House of Assembly cannot carry. They cannot employ everybody in this space. I'll tell you, since last week, right? Last week, I have had people with degrees asking me for an early morning job. People at a degrees and master's level as well. And it could be as a result of, right, that they feel like they're not having opportunities at their level, right? But THA cannot employ everybody. And I make the comparison, and I have to. If I walk around my division, right, how many people you see? Syrian, Chinese. You're seeing all the business people of one particular race. So what is happening with our people, right? Our people that look like you and me. I mean, I'm not saying we don't have excellent business people of my race, but we need to start training people. Because you have a master's, that means you would have gone through the rigors. So take the opportunity, and that is what we are looking for. We want those brave soldiers out there to come on board with the division. We are going to train you, give you the science, the business, and become entrepreneurs. Even if you have an early morning job, and I will not knock that, because some level of comfort exist with getting the $5,000 and $6,000 a month. But we're moving ahead where things are getting more costly, right? So think out of the box. You have talent, I have talent. I know how to make all kinds of things. I just make coconut oil, the soaps I like to buy, and I make them, right? But our division exists to provide support to you, the entrepreneur, to make you successful. My division, right, most of the contracts, right, all these projects I'm talking about, Tobagonians got them, right? That is also to encourage contract employment, right? Contractors to employ people within the districts. So I am appealing to Tobagonians, right? Right? When you're going to Crown Point, look at who are the businessmen down there, who making all the money, right? The $5,000 and the $6,000 a month is not it alone. You can do something else. And the explosion of these early morning jobs, because you see a lot of people being brought on, use the resources that you now have and make an investment into your life. Yeah?
Understood. Now, I had a conversation yesterday with Assemblyman Trevor James.
Yes.
And he indicated that due to not being able to get a letter of sovereignty from the central government, the Scarborough Development Project was stalled.
Right.
This also feeds into the Tobago Autonomy Trust and why it's important for Tobago to have autonomy. Are there any projects that you tried to embark on during your 3-year term where it was really impossible because the support from the central government was not there, or because that Tobago autonomy has not been fulfilled?
Well, I am surprised that, having an East and West representative, that you don't really have any communication whatsoever. I'm really surprised about that. And the challenge of pest management, because we know about the giant African snail and the programs that we're trying to eradicate pests, right? The laws that we have, the current laws, it doesn't support the Tobago environment. How do you have the conversation if we are, they are just supporting their administration and not really thinking about Tobago, right? So I was surprised. I mean, you get the odd letter, the little invitation to things, but you don't really have a voice, really, because they see you as a different administration, really, yeah? But the autonomy fight, for me, what has limited me in terms of being able to get officers, get the firearm users, to get those powers that would allow us to do pest management, particular species, to show Trinidad that, look, we're having problems with the parrots, we're having problems with the agoutis, So trying to assist in that sense has been difficult, yeah? But, even the grants, some of the incentives, right? Whenever they need to select or to distribute, they come from Trinidad and do it. Yeah? Instead of allowing our bright, brilliant people in Tobago to make the assessment. So you have those challenges. Yeah, but I'm hoping that someday we all can come together with one mindset and lobby for the rights that we deserve. Yeah?
Understood. But we're going to have to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back right after this. So stay with us, guys.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salad. salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. We are coming to you live from the Milford Road Esplanade right here in downtown Scarborough, Tobago. In case you're wondering, the beautiful set that we're sitting on this morning was sponsored by Courts. Yes, and they are located on the ground floor of the Port Mall or at the Lowlands Mall. So you can check them out for anything that you want for furnishing your home. And I'm telling you, I'm sitting here and feeling luxurious this morning. So again, we must say thank you to Courts. In case you're just joining us, we are speaking about our theme for this week. Our ongoing theme is Beneath the Surface. And we're speaking with all the assemblymen of the Tobago House of Assembly, and we're going to do a review as to the projects that they have embarked on, the promises that were made, and the deliverables. Also a little bit about their personal lives and how they've been able to balance the demands of public office as well as their personal lives. This morning we're speaking with Assemblyman Natisha Charles Panton, and before we went to the break, we were talking about some of the challenges that existed. Before the break, we spoke about some of the things that you were unable to achieve based on funding and support from central government. But I also want to ask about some of the plans that you had that you were unable to achieve outside of that funding, whether it was because of management, whether it was because of time, or whatever factor that might have contributed to you not being able to either fully complete the project or even embark on it as you had planned.
I would say that, every asset that we have needs to be refurbished. If I could refurbish all, I would. Right? But of course, you have to set priorities. So we take it one step at a time. The Fisher Folk community, they have to admit that we would have done a lot in terms of upgrading the infrastructure. Right? The fish facility by Barbados Bay, right? That would have been improved until they could move in, right? And move away from cutting up fish on the wood that was a hazard to your health, right? We would have upgraded Roxborough Fish Facility. We would have given Charlotteville the Charlotteville lockers. We would have upgraded the Bucko Fish Facility, and we're moving around the island, and we're currently doing Cologne, yeah. So we are trying our very best. And if you look at the agricultural stations, so we have the Tobago Agri Research Institute. And if it has to be a meaningful institute, it has to be upgraded. And I'm happy to report that the upgrades they have started, right? We're hoping to have a lab as well. You cannot have agriculture without a lab, because it's a science as well, right? Tractor pool will soon be refurbished. We have a lot of infrastructural problems there, and therefore we have to, it's a necessity, right? So we have a lot happening. The Louisdor processing facility, right? You expect to see some upgrades there so that agro-processors can utilize that space. So we have a lot of plans coming on board. But if we could fix, because we have like Louisdor bottom station, we have a lot of wooden seating out the flooring, you had to literally jump through, right? You have a lot of problems on all of these stations. But here what? We will fix it. We can't fix everything at the same time. And we know it's because of lack of funding, right, from central government. But I would say that we have done extremely well, right? Yes, we do have some issues in some departments. And as I said, identifying leaders, extremely important. So you might have a department, for example. We have excellent staff, but the leader within that department may not be very strong for whatever reason. And I'll tell you something, and it's a good thing I remember that. Now, sometimes you cannot blame the politics, really, because you might say, okay, the leader might be of a particular political affiliation. But if you look at how all these fish facilities have been run down, all the vessels abandoned, right? It was extremely challenging to work under the fisheries department, yeah? So, and I mean, these things haven't been run down just because we're in office. You're looking at 21 years of destruction. So to literally have some success under this department, right? Having to bring people draw effort and talent from different departments to support this one department, and having the assistant secretary lead, right, the staff, I would say that the Department of Fisheries would have done well. Yeah? And I want to give kudos to my assistant secretary. As a matter of fact, without him, I would, would not have had this amount of support that I needed because of having such a large division to run, right? He does an excellent job with the fisherfolk community, and I must say, he's extraordinary.
Right. And the Chief Secretary has mandated 44 in 44.
Yes.
And each division has been given a number of projects that should be completed within this next year. What are some of those projects for you, and what are some of the key focuses that you want to ensure before this administrative term is over, that you successfully complete?
Now, these priority projects are based on funding, the necessary funding, and your capacity to be able to execute based on the staff that you have. Yeah? I mean, to limit the division of food security to the 4 or 5 within the 44, it would be unfair to my staff if I say that they would not have done well. So amidst the mega farming project, which we would see some progress, because we would have started a project in Friendship. So very soon you will hear something about that happening. Yeah. We have a lot of upgrades across the entire space. So as I said, Kendall Farm School will be upgraded, Louisdor processing facility, we will have to start the designs for the vet lab, the tractor pool. You'll see some upgrades going to happen soon. So we have a lot for Culloden. So outside of those 5, we still have a mandate to improve, because as I said, everything being run down, it's difficult to operate food security without having the necessary infrastructure. Yeah. So I would say that we're well on train with even the access roads. You see that we have access roads started already. So we have already started some of these projects. It's just to continue. Yeah? Well, but you all didn't ask me anything about my district at all.
Well, I was just about to tell
security excited.
I was just about to tell you that time is unfortunately running out on us.
Yes.
But before you go, within your district, what were some of the issues that you encountered coming in? How were you able to work with them, and what are some of your plans moving forward?
Okay. Well, my district, they would have clamored for lights, and they got lights. Bacalet Point, Bacalet Inez, Celestial View, Cradley, Adelphi. So just hearing that alone, I had a very dark constituency. Yeah? So that in itself was a major achievement. French Fort, you could now exercise in the night, right? Because you have lights going all the way to the top, right? Plus you have water. Yeah? A lot of drainage issues. Secretary James would have done a massive drain in Friendsfield. We will have a lot of failing infrastructure, right? Which he would have addressed. The bridge between the Bacalet Center and Bacalet would have eroded and he restored it, right? The bridge in Kokowati, that was restored. And a number of potholes. I know we have a lot of pothole issues, but a number of potholes were addressed. So we would have done a lot in the district. Together as a team, and in going forward we want to continue that. We would have done a lot of fundraising to put in a lot of traffic mirrors, and as we go along we'll continue doing fundraising to help different residents. I'm happy to report that the woman who she experienced, I think she had some, I don't want to say what her ailment was, but she had an issue with her home, and out of pocket, out of fundraising, we would have able to given her space, and she has now moved into her home, right? And we did that without any support whatsoever from the THA, right? So things can be done outside of Tobago House of Assembly funding. So we are trying to do, burn two sides of the candle, as they say, right? So we're trying our best to reach the needs of our constituents in Bagatelle Bacalet, the electoral district of Bagatelle Bacalet. And I'm hoping that they are pleased with the outcome of having me as a representative.
And on that note, of course, with the elections coming up, THA elections coming up, I mean, I know you said you haven't put your hat in the ring yet for the general elections, but of course, what are your plans, your intentions, and your hopes for the upcoming THA elections?
The thing is, I will go, like the last time, I would go with what the community wants. Yeah? I'm not one that would say, okay, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring again. Right? If the community believe that I would have served them in the best my ability and the funding that I got, I will leave it to them to select me at the party group level. If they want me to go again, then I will serve. Yes.
Definitely a very, very humble response there. And of course, I know that for you, service is very important. Yes. And I don't think we asked this question. If you were to rate in terms of your deliverables, the things that you went in wanting to do, let's say you want to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate the things that you were able to achieve while in office?
I've never thought about rating myself, but I would say I'll give myself an 8.
Fair enough.
Fair.
Very fair.
Right? With what I had, I think I did my best. But I mean, there are things that I can't control. But given what I could control, I would say 10. Right? But things that I can't control it. Right? But I know perfection is something that I aim for, but nothing in life is perfect. As I said, if my constituents, they are happy with my level of service and they wish for me to re-enter, then I will re-enter.
And if I can ask, what's the word on the ground where that is concerned? Have you heard anything on the ground?
Yes, I do hear good. That's how I'm doing well.
And that, of course, is encouragement.
Yes, that is encouragement.
So I'm guessing the people are
Yes.
confident to
Yes.
put you back there to run for that district again.
Mhm.
But before we wrap up this morning, is there anything you want to say to your constituents?
To my constituents, I would like to say I love you all. You have been exceptional in terms of your patience, in terms of your support, and even in terms of sharing your gratitude for everything. I get so many WhatsApp messages, good morning messages, prayers. I even get foods early in the morning coming to me. I get so much love from you. And it is encouragement, and I want us to continue working together so that we can develop an electoral district that we are all one family, right? So I thank you.
Guys, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussion. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Now remember, we are live for the rest of the week from right here at downtown Scarborough at the Milford Road Esplanade. Now guys, we have been sponsored this morning by Courts Furniture Store, and that's why you are seeing such an impressive set this morning. Now Adana, is there anything you want to tell the folks before we leave out
I mean,
this
I
morning?
must agree with you. The set this morning is very, very, as I mentioned before, luxurious. It feels really good. We are comfortable, and we must say thank you to Courts. We must say thank you, of course, to all of you, our viewers, who continue to choose us and to make us #1 here on the island of Tobago as we bring the discussions and the information to you. We're so thankful that you're always a part of the conversation, that you leave your comments on our live stream, and that you let us know what you think and what you feel. Remember, for the entire week, we'll be here on the Milford Road Esplanade as we go beneath the surface. And tomorrow, we'll be speaking with another assemblyman, Mr. Joel Sampson. He will be here this tomorrow morning, going beneath the surface with your host. So you want to stay locked on as well. We also air the morning show. We begin our programming at 7 a.m. So you want to be, in fact, 6:57 tomorrow. So you want to be a part of all the conversations that we're having here this week on the outside here at the Scarborough Esplanade, right in front of the I Love Tobago sign. And we love you and we appreciate all that you do and all that you are. And this is us saying, have a wonderful, wonderful day from the team of Tobago Updates Television.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand